right, looks like everybody's done. Relay 2, you can bring your guns and equipment to the line as long as the guy in front of you is out of the way.
This is a class of Benchrest called Groundhog shoots. And Groundhog shoots, we do not shoot for the smallest group. What you're shooting for is to hit the center target. You have 5 shots to put in the center of the target, and if you get outside of the center ring or any of the consecutive rings that are around those, you start to drop points one at a time as you go further out. Typically you have sighter shots. A lot of times they're unlimited, the number of sighter shots you get. This year, so what we're doing is all the shooters who were on the line shooting the last relay are now removing their gear, and then the next group of guys are coming up to set up and shoot. And so you can see everybody's got their own rest. You can see this gentleman here, he is lining up his rest in his bag with the target, making sure it's settled in. It's just the right spot on the concrete. I mean, you'd be amazed at how much of this is feel. You can shoot many different classes too, you know, unlike IBS, you know, you can use sporterized rifles, and we have classes for, you know, sporter type rifles that, so you don't have to shoot up against the really, really big guys. A lot of 30 BRs at these, 6 PPCs, a couple of other 6 BRs are another popular one that you see at Groundhog shoots.
All right, insert your bolts.
This is Jay. He's shooting a 6 PPC. He's been getting really good, and he's starting to win a lot too. And a lot of that is just practice. You know, he started out, didn't really know anything about Benchrest, and people helped him out and gave him advice. This is Bob. He's another really good shooter. Now here's Bob Green. He's an excellent shooter and a gunsmith. As you can see here, he keeps his head nice and low. He's almost always looking through the scope. He's got 2 C-clamps on the bench here holding that towel up so that when he ejects his brass, it doesn't go down on the ground and they get dented. So his hands basically stay very close to the trigger and the bolt handle, and he's just feeding and cycling, keeping things as efficient as possible. You want all your components that are necessary to complete the relay as close as possible. You can see Jay, he's got like a little
3 minutes, 30 seconds.
Got a little bullet holder here that holds it up next to the chamber. This, I think, is his 30 BR that he's shooting. You'll notice a lot of towels on the tops of the shooting benches. That's because the recoil will basically push your elbow back along the concrete, and it can scrape the skin right off your elbows. So once again, comfort is very important. You need to be comfortable as you're shooting. If you're not comfortable, you're not going to shoot very well. And I gotta say, like, as far as like socially, these events are very friendly. You know, you'll get to know people very quickly, because they'll come to you and they'll talk to you and they'll give you advice and share what they're doing. It's really a fun sport. It's a good sport to get into. You can see a lot of guys will have their own timer so they can keep track of their time. So what a lot of shooters are doing is they're shooting their sighters. This is Bob. He's shooting his sighters right now. And he's basically getting on target on the sighters target first, and then he'll move over and he'll shoot his score targets. And you only need to put 5 bullets into the score targets for each distance. So this particular match at the Shippensburg Fish and Game Groundhog shoot, it's 100 yards, 200 yards, and 300 yards. So you shoot your sighters and you basically watch what the wind's doing, because at these kind of matches you don't have the benefit of wind flags, kind of like you do at IBS. But wind is still very, very important. You know, you've got to be able to read the wind. And I know for myself, what I do is I shoot my sighter targets again and again, seeing how the bullets are hitting based on the conditions, and I get to feel for that. And then when I see a good condition there, then I quickly switch over, shoot off 1 or 2 actually scored targets, and then if conditions change again, I'll move back. CJ here, he's adjusting his rest. You want to make sure that your rest is set up such that your quick handle here is basically in the middle of the target. You don't want to be bottomed out or topped out, because then you'd have to adjust your rest as, let's say, maybe your rifle starts to settle into your bags. You'll see a lot of guys too, they'll pound on the butt of their gun to like get it to settle into their sandbags. Here's Marty. You see he's a good shooter too, and you can see he's got a left port rifle, but it's the right bolt. And what that does is it allows him to cycle with one hand and feed with the other, so that you can basically operate the gun as quickly as possible, because time is of the essence in these types of shoots. Here's Bob again. He's shooting a 6BR. He's won quite a few times with this rifle. You can see he's a little bit slower, but you know what? In this type of industry, you know, you don't have to be in super great physical condition. We got one gentleman on the line here. He's on oxygen. He can't even pick up his own gun. His son picks up his gun and sets it up for him. But you know, that's just because this sport is for anybody.